Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are taking a look at the brand new 2020 Mojo Allosaurus. This Mojo Fun figure is a very cool looking Allosaurus. They actually released an Allosaurus a few years ago that looked very similar to this, but I don't unfortunately have it here to compare it with this one due to it being stuck in storage, and that storage area is kind of a mess right now. I can't really reach the other figures, but I will put up an image here in the corner to show you what the previous version looked like, and you can definitely see that the overall sculpting of the figure is really quite different as far as the positioning of the body. The previous version had a much more bent tail, a curved head and neck area to look to its right. This one is, for the most part, looking more straightforward and has the tail in a much more straight position. So the sculpting is really quite different than the previous version, but also the paint job is, because you can see with the previous version it's a much flashier paint scheme, maybe insinuating that that one is a male. This one might be a female due to it being a much darker coloration. But I actually am a big fan of both the previous version and now this newest version, but I'm really psyched actually that they've added another version of this Allosaurus, not just a repaint, but a retooled version, because it's really cool to have two very similar looking figures of the same style of an Allosaurus, because it now gives you a mating pair, and I think that is awesome. Something that you don't see more often than not from companies. If they're going to give you another version of a figure that they've already had out, they'll normally just kind of repaint it and then call it a day. But Mojo Fun here has actually resculpted theirs and everything to appear in a different position overall as far as the pose goes, and of course a new paint scheme. So that's super awesome on the part of Mojo Fun. They continue to impress me when it comes to their 2020 line, once again with this Allosaurus. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at it right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt, you can see that the head sculpt actually sports some really nice detailing, and the detailing even of the skin texture and the head sculpt in general looks very reminiscent of the last Allosaurus. So the similarities of these looking like they are from the exact same family and everything is really cool, from the same line as far as this Allosaurus goes. I think they did a great job of matching the two up to look extremely similar, but yet have quite a bit of difference between the two. One thing that is different from the previous one, I do believe the other one did not have an articulated jaw. This one does. You can see a really nicely sculpted tongue in there, beautiful skin texture throughout. And again, the skin flap here on the side of the mouth also sports some really nice detailing, some beautiful texture to it. You can also see that the teeth are painted pretty nicely. They're a little sloppy, but not too bad. For the most part, they look quite nice. Definitely very minor sloppiness, I will say, and it really does look quite cool. The jaw works really well also. Definitely very smooth as far as the operation of the jaw goes. You can see the very nice Allosaurus crest up here on the top of the head. Sports a beautiful red coloration. Definitely a very nice red. It really helps the entire head sculpt to look very striking and really gives it kind of a menacing look at the same time. The eye is painted with a very nice yellowish color, and for the most part looks to be placed pretty well. Doesn't appear to have any sloppiness or anything. This side has a little bit, but not too bad. It's just missed the mark slightly, I think. It's not even that it really missed the mark. I think just some of the eye paint has run down onto the eye socket area, but it doesn't look bad from a distance. It's not bad at all. The eye looks really striking due to that yellow coloration and the rest of the body being a very dark area in that specific spot. So that was definitely a really nice choice as far as what they chose to paint the eye with. Really nice detailing up here on the top of the head. And then as you run back along the ridge of the head and along those crests, you start kind of a ridged type area, kind of like osteoderms or scutes that run along the spinal column of the dinosaur that continue down in that reddish coloration. You can see some really nice skin texture as you run down the neck. Beautiful skin creasing along the neck as well. You get down here into the body, you've got some very nice shoulder blades right there. A little bit of hanging skin on the underside of the throat. Really nicely sculpted arms. The hands look to be sculpted quite beautifully as well. The paint application on them is really nice. Again, primarily the body's just this very dark coloration, but you can see even here on the hand, the inside of the hand into the forearm, how smooth that transition is from that dark coloration back to this lighter tannish type color here on the underbelly. Really nice, very natural transition between those colors. The nails are painted quite nicely, and they do have a glossy appearance to them, so they look and shine really realistically. You can see some of the skin bunching up here in the stomach region as the Allosaurus is pushing its arms into the body. Really nice skin texture here in the stomach region as well. You can almost get a sense of the rib cage a little bit there. Really nice detailing up here on the back. You've got the hip bone sculpted and elaborated right there. You come down into the legs, you can see some musculature there of the thigh and calf region. You've got the kneecaps here present in the front. And then it transitions from like this darker coloration. You can kind of see that lighter color creeping through there and in the stomach region, but then it also transitions down into a little brief area here in the shin area that runs about to the ankle area, and then it also has that light coloration there, and then transitions back again to a darker color here on the feet. The feet look really cool. Beautifully painted nails here on the feet as well. You also have the dew claws in there. It's nice to see that those are present and painted. And then we run out the length of the tail. We get a little creasing in the skin right there, kind of showing the movement of this leg. Also right here, the skin kind of pulling off of the body. Really beautiful attention to detail. But you can see that the skin texture as we run out the tail is really quite nice. And again, the transition between the darker coloration up here in the back to the lighter coloration here in the lower part of the body is really smooth, really natural. Definitely looks great. As we look at the opposing side, you can see that the lower jaw has the same coloration as the majority of the underbelly, and it looks really nice. Beautiful skin wrinkling here on this side of the neck as well. The dinosaur, for the most part, has its head kind of facing straight forward, has a slight right turn to it, but you're not going to see much as far as difference between this side and the opposing side when it comes to skin wrinkling or anything. You can pick up on a few osteoderms here and there in the neck. Really nice wrinkling here at the joint of the arm where the arm connects to the body, kind of again showing the movement of the arm, pushing into the stomach region a little bit right there as well. Really nicely sculpted hands and beautifully painted nails, nice elbow back there. Really nice texturing of the skin here in the stomach region. It almost has kind of like a slight hint of that vintage Mojo style of sculpt, but at the same time, for the most part, it's very updated and very modern when it comes to what you expect from a Mojo Fun figure. Definitely some nice muscle tone here in the thigh. You can see the hip bone right there is elaborated from the skin right there at the top of the leg, and then we can see some nice creasing here again in the joint of the knee. Nice kneecap is slightly present, almost like an osteoderm type appearance over top of it. Nice calf muscles right there, and you can see the foot sculpt over here. It looks super nice. Really, really nice looking foot sculpt for sure. And then we come up here, we can see kind of the skin stretching off of the body a little bit as the leg here is pulling forward. Nice wrinkles in the skin as we run out the length of the tail to a very nice curve. It has a very slight curve to it. Looks really cool. The underside also sports some really nice detailing for sure. So it's really beautifully sculpted, really beautifully painted as well. Definitely a very nice addition to the 2020 line from Mojo Fun. As far as a size goes, on our Allosaurus, from the tail to the head, you're looking at about 8¼ inches, just a little bit over, actually pretty close to 8½ inches, or about 21 or 21½ centimeters, somewhere in that area. And for a height, about 3½ inches, or around 9 centimeters to the top of the head. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo Rex, Robert Muldoon, and the Attack Pack Colovosaurus from Mattel, all kind of circling the Allosaurus. The Allosaurus is probably quite concerned at this point, but you can definitely see that there is a very nice size difference between the Papo Rex and the Mojo Fun Allosaurus, showing you that this is a decent bit smaller as far as an Allosaurus goes. It's a really nice looking Allosaurus, and one that's not too big that anybody would have problems fitting it into their collection. It honestly should fit quite perfectly. So once again, another surefire hit as far as the size of their figure goes. So as far as this Mojo Fun 2020 Allosaurus goes, I really, really like it a lot. I definitely think that the paint application on this all looks extremely natural. Really beautiful tones of color throughout, and the transition back and forth between the lighter colorations of like the underbelly and then the midsection and everything is really smooth. Very, very smooth transition between those colors back and forth. It looks super, super nice, really natural. And I think that the coloration in general that they've chosen with that dark kind of like a blackish color is potentially a very realistic color, but they didn't just leave a go at that black coloration to make it look very dull. They went ahead and added that nice red kind of predatory look with the reddish coloration of the crests, and then the ridges that run down along the spinal column all the way out onto the tail. and adding that red, I think, took it from being just kind of a boring, bland paint scheme, which I even still would have been okay with that, because I feel like it's a really natural look for the figure, but also adding that little bit of flashiness with that reddish coloration, and the red's not anything that's too bright, it's a darker red, so again, a very natural look on this figure, and an Allosaurus is probably going to have to try to hide amongst the brush and maybe sneak attack and ambush prey, so this is something that I could definitely see helping to hide the Allosaurus amongst the brush, something that, in my opinion, would be very realistic on an Allosaurus. The sculpt is really nice as well. It's not the most scientifically accurate Allosaurus, but I love the fact that they kind of kept it in comparison to the previous Allosaurus. They didn't give it a full-blown new update or anything like that to try to make it a little more scientifically accurate. They kept it similar to the previous release, which now allows you to add a mating pair to your collection and have two that look very similar but in different poses and different color schemes. That, my friends, is awesome if you ask me. And the overall sculpting in general of the Allosaurus looks great. The pose is nice and natural as well. It's just kind of trotting along and it looks very at ease. Definitely really like that as well. So this figure should be coming into stock on everythingdinosaur.com and Jenkins very soon. Make sure you keep checking back to both of those websites. I will include links in the description to both of those so you can find out when this does come into stock, and when it does, it's definitely a really nice figure to pick up. So make sure you buy this Allosaurus when it does officially start to hit stores, but before that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.